What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. What doesn't kill you makes us.
Hi, I'm Allyson and this is Kicking Cancer to the Curb. This segment of the show I like to call the Wow segment because these are words of wisdom that I'd like to share with you from my experiences as I fought cancer for the past year. I'm cured now, but when it all started, I was happily going along with my life, having a great time, and when I think back, I even went to several parties over Christmas and even before that Thanksgiving, because that time of year is really, really busy. That's when I started to not feel so well, but still I was well enough to go out and have fun. I distinctly remember one Christmas party, and I always joke with my friend that was like my goodbye party to my old life. So as I was going along, I started to have some rectal bleeding. There's that word, rectal. And in colorectal cancer, you get used to that word, and you also get used to that part of your body. So yeah, I'm not really that embarrassed to talk about it anymore because it really does just become something you have to deal with and not something you're so much embarrassed about because it's the focus of your cancer. So I started bleeding and I immediately went to the internet and looked up WebMD, and it basically told me not really to worry about it. And so I just went on, and then I had some more, and I had some stomach issues, and I was going to the bathroom a lot more. So I went to my doctor, and she said it could be, you know, various things. I don't remember her ever saying the word cancer, because if she did, I would have got my tests done a lot sooner. So she gave me one test that I had to do, and that came back fine. And so I wasn't worried about it because I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And then my symptoms got worse. I started losing weight, which was actually a good thing. I liked that. I liked that I was losing weight without having to try. And I remember one of my friends saying to me, "You're losing so much weight." And I'm like, yeah, I know. This is so great. It wasn't great. It was cancer. So I went to the specialist finally, Dr. Raina Olson, and she said, "You need a colonoscopy." And I'm like, oh, okay. And it was really busy, you know. It was too busy for me to go get a colonoscopy, which is completely ridiculous now that I think back, because that's the only thing that I should have been doing. So I waited till after Christmas, and almost after Valentine's Day. It was February when I finally went, February 8th. It was 7 months after my symptoms started. Let me say that again, 7 months. If I had gone earlier, I probably would not have had to go through everything that I went through. They probably would have found the polyp right away and removed it, and that could have been it. But because I waited so long, it grew, and then it grew into my intestinal wall, and that's when it becomes cancer. So I really, really like to urge you to go when you notice something different. I know that it's hard to take time out of our lives, but it is our life, and not listening to your body is just not smart. It's not smart at all, and that's a very valuable lesson. Now I go to all my appointments, I listen to my body, and I've learned from that. But that could have been a mistake that you know, that I may not have made it through. I mean, if I had waited 3 more months, I probably wouldn't be here maybe. So listen to your body, please. After I went to her and I finally prepared for the colonoscopy, you get a drink, and the drink makes you go to the bathroom. It's salty and it's disgusting, but you have to do it. You have to stay home. You can't leave your house. You need to be near your bathroom, and it basically cleanses you, and that's all you do is drink that solution. and then the next day you go in, somebody has to drop you off, and you change, and they give you some drugs to put you out. You're sedated, but some people do wake up. I didn't wake up. And they do the colonoscopy, which is where they take the camera and they enter through your bottom and take a look around. And I remember teasing one of the male nurses. I'm like, I hope I'm not going to bump into you at a bar or something later, because it's going to be really embarrassing. But he assured me that he did not look at my backside like that. So I had to believe him. What else was I going to do? I woke up from the procedure and I looked back. I remember seeing my doctor and saying to her, so everything's okay, right, doc? And she said, you need to come into my office. And I said, okay, but everything's okay, right? And she's like, we'll talk about it in my office. So she didn't want to tell me there, which is a good idea. And I was still sedated, so I didn't really think about it being cancer. That still never entered my mind. So my friend picked me up, I went home, I recuperated the next day, and Friday morning I was talking to my best friend. She was booking Madonna tickets because she was coming in October, and we were very excited. And I was having breakfast with another one of my friends, so there was like texting and phone calling and eating and talking going on. So I was having a lovely Friday morning. My best friend asked me, did you talk to your doctor yet about your results? And I said, Teresa, don't worry about it. It's not cancer. I said those exact words. It is not cancer. 2 o'clock, I called my doctor. She called me back. She said that I need to go in. I said, when? And she said, now. And I said, oh. And then I was, wow, I knew that there was something really, really wrong. And that was a moment, that's when I knew that, oh, this is not good. She wants to see me right now on a Friday afternoon. So called my friends to arrange for my children to be picked up, and I called my husband and my best friend, and I'm like, I have cancer, because I knew that I had cancer. And I went to see my doctor, and she told me, and she was very loving and very caring. And I just remember kind of being in a daze after that, a fog, walking around. They were taking my blood. I had to have these tests done. They were asking me questions. And I don't know, it's like you're watching this happen. Is this really happening? You're thinking to yourself, this cannot be happening. But it was happening. So I went home, and my husband assured me that we were going to get through with this. My best friend, talked me off the ledge, and that was just a really, really, really tough night. In regards to the rectal bleeding, a lot of people may suffer from hemorrhoids or from sensitive skin, and that's where their bleeding comes from. When you have cancer, usually the bleeding will increase. At least that's what happened for me. Like in the beginning, it was a little bit, and it would come and then it would go, and then it got more and more and more, and that was kind of like my red flag. So if you notice any difference at all, if there's any blood at all, just go to the doctor. It's worth the trip. Maybe it is just hemorrhoids, and maybe it is your skin, but it's good to find that out. For me, it wasn't that scary in the beginning because I had, looked on the internet and diagnosed myself. But looking back, I'd never had any hemorrhoids. I'd never had any bleeding. So that was definitely a sign for me to acknowledge, which I didn't. The other thing is the foods that I was eating. I couldn't really eat salads anymore. Fruits were difficult to digest. Anything spicy. I just was already gravitating towards a very bland diet just because everything that I ate would hurt my tummy. So I was eating like a bagel and cream cheese and crackers, graham crackers, pasta, just very, very simple things. I could not drink coffee anymore. I could not drink tea anymore. It would cause a problem. I would have to go to the bathroom during the evening. When I was sleeping through the night, I'd have to get up and also go to the bathroom, which was odd. So these are all things that you need to look for. Any foods or anything that you're drinking that causes you discomfort, or if your bathroom patterns have changed. So yeah, those are really, really important symptoms, and I'd like you to keep your eyes open and just, acknowledge when there is a change and get yourself to the doctor.